Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to just be talking about hitting 30 years old and the misconceptions that I usually come across. And if you agree or disagree, you can definitely comment below. But while you're at it, make sure you like and subscribe as you scroll down. Okay, so I won't lie, when I hit 25, um it's almost like something in your brain switched where you were just like, wow, what am I doing? Like you're just like, okay, what exactly am I doing? Cuz I feel like I'm not doing life right now. Now, remember, there's no right or wrong way of really just like living your life. I mean, just don't be a terrible friggin' person, but like but it's more so like, what exactly am I doing right now? That's how I felt when I hit 25. I was kind of in a place where I wasn't necessarily sure where exactly I wanted to go or what I wanted to do. And I would say I was very much lost. Depression hit me hard, like it punched me straight in the jaw and called me out my name. Uh, and so when I basically hit that age, I um started to realize a lot of things. Because that little 5 year period, from 25 to 30, you're just like, okay. Like you start to realize things. Like you don't realize everything. You're still trying to like disregard things that you know aren't healthy for you, aren't good for your life at all. Um, and you try to basically find ways to keep it there, keep certain things there that shouldn't have been there in the first place. You know what I mean? Um, but when I say that, this is just for me. It's not for everybody. Some people actually go through the transition with grace. I did not. I had so many falls from there. Grace let me go plenty of times. I told her to grab me from the ledge. She watched me like a cat that be licking their paw and don't even give a damn what happens to you. Yeah, it was like that. When a cat like knocks a glass off the table and you're like, no, and then it breaks on the floor. It's kind of like that. No, but seriously, um, when I hit 25, I started to realize a lot of things. So many things started to hit me left and right. So you start to realize a lot of people aren't for you. You start to realize a lot of situations aren't for you. You start to realize the shit that you're doing needs to stop. Even if you're not doing like horrible, horrid things, um, it's still possibly, probably not good for growth, you know. I am a firm believer that, if you have certain things in your life, it more than likely is blocking your blessings, the ones that's not supposed to be there. And then the moment that you remove those blockages, that's when the blessings start flowing in, okay? Um, but on all seriousness, though, um, I had a lot of people and a lot of things happening in my life that I really shouldn't have. And it was mostly because I was still trying to figure out life. Like, board games ain't no joke. If you play the game of life, yeah. Okay, they didn't lie to you. I mean, they lied about a few things, but there was one thing where it's just like, damn, yeah, yeah, like go ahead and pop out that dusty, busted box of Game of Life and tell me that I'm wrong. No, seriously. So from 25, 26, 27, 27 was horrible. When I was 27, it felt like things were kind of like biting me in the ass. It was like every decision I made was wrong. And life was like, see, I told you, you ain't want to listen. But when you care about certain things so much, you want it to be there. You want it to stay there. You want it to stay put. You don't want it to disappear. You don't want to let go. You know, you kind of just want it to exist in your space, in your circle. And sometimes you have to let those things go, even though it may hurt. It can hurt a lot. Hell, it's gonna hurt horribly. Like it's gonna hurt like a scab. You pulling off a scab, and a big one, not one of those small ones. But every time I look back at that, it made me see a lot of things like about myself. It's not always the people around you, it's usually what you allow. If you allow certain things, that's what people will be. So there were people I've met or people that has been in my life where or have been in my life where literally they knew I didn't like certain things, but because I allowed them to keep doing it, um, that's just what kept happening. They kept doing it. They kept doing it. They kept doing it. And that was basically the notion that we went off of. It was, I didn't say anything. They kept doing their thing. And yeah. Um, and it got to the point where it got disrespectful, where they basically felt like they could say anything to me, they could do anything to me, and the only thing other people would say is that's just how they are. I mean, what the heck? And it's like brushing off terrible behavior is not okay. It's not. Like, one thing I can say is a lot of people don't look at themselves because it's easier to blame others. Like, don't get me wrong, they have blame. Yeah, it's you, like, it's you. You did that. But then you have to kind of look at yourself like, you kind of allowed this. Like, I looked at myself like, yeah, you knew that what they were doing was wrong and it wasn't good for your mental health and it wasn't good for your feelings and your emotions, yet you still allowed them to do it. You kept going around these people. You kept, you know what I mean? And every time you got upset, you complained about it, but you ain't really do nothing about it. And I was the biggest friggin' hypocrite, because when people came to me for advice about certain situations, I would be like, well, if you're not going to change your situation, then you need to stop talking about it. You need to stop coming to me about it. You know what I mean? Because sometimes I just got tired of hearing the same thing over and over. And then it hit me. Girl, you doing the same exact thing. Are you for real? And that's when I really realized it at 30. At 30, it's always your parents. If not your parents, it's always someone with a lot of wise words for you, for something for you to take in. But I talked to my mom, and I basically told her lots of the situations that I was dealing with and whatnot. And she was just like, okay, but what are you gonna do about it? And my mom's very blunt. And she was just like, because she, I can say one thing I get from my mom. I'd be like, but can I cut you off real quick? That's what she did to me. She was like, but can I say something? And I was like, yeah. And she was just like, but what are you going to do about it? Not one of those put your knucks up type stuff. No, like she mean like, Are you going to change the situation, or are you going to forever allow the behavior? Are you going to keep doing it? Are you going to change yourself? Are you going to change your circle? You know. And she was right, absolutely. But obviously, I still was like, it's not that. But that's what we say. Is like, it's not that. It's not, you know. And I do believe, I've heard plenty of times in my life, what you project is exactly what you'll get, you know. And I realized that at 30. It took many years. It wasn't something that actually like came to me like blam, nothing like that. It was like one of those things where I literally didn't see it coming. It was just, it had to take me going through a whole bunch of shebang for me to finally be like, oh. And that was the moment. That was when I finally realized you should probably make some changes for you. Boundaries became a huge thing. Understandings become a huge thing, and conversations had to be made. Even though these conversations went nowhere, because some people, they have a script that they go off of, and these scripts basically tell them what they should say to you over and over again. Every time you bring up an issue, they bring up the same script. Oh, I'll change. Yeah, definitely. Then the next time they do it, oh, I'll change. Yeah, definitely. It's the same script over and over again. And not everyone is like that. Some people genuinely do change. But then there's the people that you have to realize the patterns. If you hear the same pattern from these people, and nothing has changed over a long allotted time, then yeah, you really don't need to deal with these people anymore, or these situations, whatever you want to call it. And quite honestly, that was when I finally realized that yeah, it took me until I turned 30 to really figure everything out. Many people feel like when you turn 30, it don't mean nothing. It's just another year. You should just be, blessed to see another year. But no, like 30 is a milestone. 30 is a blessing. 30 means that there are some things that you should probably evaluate. Sit down and actually go over the things that has been settling within your heart and in your mind and in your spirit, and what exactly you're going to do about those situations so that you will be at peace, not them. I mean, you could allow that to, if y'all have that bond, both of you can be at peace with the situation without it blowing up or becoming something that's unhealthy for both of you. I don't really like always having to cut somebody off. Sometimes it's just best to have those boundaries and mutual understanding. I'm sorry, my hair keep getting in my mouth. And I just rather have those conversations with people and tell them, hey, you hurt my motherfucking feelings. You had my wife's name in your mother. All right, stop. I just would rather have those conversations with these people so they don't feel like the best thing is to completely shut down the program. No more, nothing else. I don't really want that. First of all, and this is going to be another video, but first of all, it's already hard meeting new people in this day and age. And like, starting over is not easy. It's not easy. And I understand that. This is just for the people literally where it's like you kind of have that notion at 30 years old. At 30, it can be pretty hard. And yes, I do agree, it can be pretty hard at 30 to make new friends, to meet new people, to make new connections. And I totally get that. And all I would say, like I said, is to have a healthy conversation. If you feel like it's necessary, or if you feel like it's possible, because sometimes it can be pretty impossible to have those conversations with certain individuals. So what you'll have to do is basically just distance yourself and create those boundaries yourself, without having to have a ongoing conversation that basically hits a brick wall every single time. So I will say the best way to actually get through those situations where you don't know where to go, you don't know what to do, and you don't know how to navigate having new connections at 30 years old, is to be able to find people that, because they're out there. I'm not going to sit here and say they're not out there. They're out there. You have to be able to meet people that are basically elevating at the same level as you. Most people, are cross seas or and across the country, but sometimes that's where it starts. And if you're lucky, hell, you might find somebody that is in the same city or state as you. Shit, great, damn. But I want everyone to know there's always people for what? It's always somebody for somebody. It's always a person. You know what I mean. There's always somebody for somebody, goddamn. I can't remember the saying, whatever. But you just have to be able to focus on yourself and build yourself up before you put yourself out there. And putting yourself first is very much important throughout this journey. And when you hit 30, my God, that shit hits you hard, because you don't realize it until you get older. Like at 25 or 24, you're like, you kind of just take people as who they are and then move along. But that's not good for you. Especially if these are the people that you're constantly around, or the situation that you're in, the job that you're at, you're just like, that's just how it is. It is what it is. That works for certain situations. This, you can't do that, because it's not good for you. It's breaking you. It's hurting you. Not everybody. This ain't for everybody. You know who I'm talking to. I'm talking to you. And I'm just like, you have to basically find what works for you and what helps you. It'll take some time, but when you put in that effort and you actually open up your mind to so many opportunities, it's going to feel so good to know that you actually put in all of that work and it wasn't for nothing. And I'll be the first to say, I am very proud of you. If you were to come back to this video, I'm very proud of you. And don't think hitting 30 is terrifying. Don't think it's scary. None of that. I used to think that. It's a beautiful thing. And it opens your eyes to so many things if you allow it. So, yeah. That's about it. And I hope to see you in the next video.